Hello out there. My name is Naima Tryman, and I've been doing a video blog series about my life story, which I published in my memoir. It's called Praying for Peace, A Journey to Serenity. Basically, my life story about a lot of different things that happened to me in a relatively short amount of time, and where they brought me, which was a pretty dark place, and how I came back from that. In my last blog, I just talked about the really basic things that I did to get my life back on track. Really basic things like showering and brushing my teeth and getting out of the house and going to AA meetings and exercising. But that's not really where the miracle happened for me. The miracle really happened for me when I ran across a book called The Road Less Traveled. I have it here on my bookshelf. Road Less Traveled, written in 1978 or 1979 by Dr. M. Scott Peck, who passed away, I think, in 2000, maybe 2005 or something like that, from cancer. But I wish he was still alive because I'd love to meet him and thank him. The book really just it changed my life. And so once I got just the basic stuff down, just learning how to take care of myself, something else had to happen. I had to do more growth. And the book, there's 4 major sections to the book, and the 2 that really gripped me the most were the one on love and the one on grace, which gave me a tangible relationship or understanding of God, because I really was lost in that respect. And growing up, I always knew that there was something bigger than me, but I didn't really know how to connect with it or how to feel about it. My relationship with my father made it hard for me to accept this idea of God as the Father, this figure that I could trust, that wasn't just kind of waiting to punish me. So I'm going to do that in my next blog, actually. But before I even got to that, the first section is entitled Love. And it's not about romantic love. It's about love of self, love of others, and he breaks down 4 major components, and they were really, really life-changing for me. So I just want to share a little bit about those today, and hope that maybe that will inspire someone to read that book, or maybe get my book, and hopefully make some changes in their own life. So Dr. Beck broke down 4 basic principles that had to do with what love entails, and the first was delaying gratification, and that was really, really major for me, because I had come to this place in my life where I didn't really trust anybody. I didn't trust time. I didn't trust people. I didn't trust God. I didn't know God. So I got what I could when I could, and it made me really, really compulsive in a lot of ways. It made me compulsive with food. If I found some food that I liked, I would eat it ridiculously. I would listen to the same song on repeat literally for months. I became a hedonist, basically. Hedonism is just this, idea of that we're pleasure-seeking individuals, and that we seek to seek pleasure and avoid pain, and that's in all of us, but that can be really, really addictive, and it can be really, really dangerous, and that's what it became for me. So when the drinking really got a hold of me, it was because I knew it wasn't great for me. It was killing me. When I drank, I used to get a lot of pain in my lower back. I think that's your kidneys there, maybe your liver, but I could feel myself dying, but I didn't care, because the pain that I was in at that point, I didn't want to deal with. I didn't know how to deal with. So the best thing I could do was just numb it and push it away and act like it wasn't there. So delaying gratification just basically means that you put off the more pleasurable things, and when you're higher on energy, when you first start out to the day, or when you first start on a project, to attack the bigger things, to attack the less pleasurable things, and get them out the way, so that you don't have to, so you can enjoy the other parts of your day or of your life, and that was a huge lesson for me, to learn how to say, no, I'm not going to drink today, I'm in a little bit of pain, but let's figure out why I'm in so much pain, and attack that, and work on that, because if I drank first of all, my problems don't go away. I probably even obsess about it, a little bit more. And then when I'm done, I still got all these problems to deal with, So delaying gratification is a major step in learning how to love yourself and to take good care of yourself. The second was acceptance of responsibility, and again, that was major for me. One really big issue that I had with my father over the years is that anybody that hears my story or that talks to me or my siblings or anybody that was around us growing up, I don't think anybody would disagree that the way we were raised was wrong. It was fear based, and it was controlled, and it was abusive, and it was wrong, and children shouldn't grow up that way. And my father, kind of felt like if I had to do all over again, I would do the same thing. I didn't do anything wrong. He couldn't take responsibility, and so as I started to make decisions based on my pain, they were all his fault. And the problem with your issues being somebody else's fault is that they then hold the power. You have to, regardless of what creates your circumstances are yours one way or the other, and you have to own that, and you have to own the decisions that you make in those moments and in those circumstances and in that pain. Otherwise, they're going to fester and they're only going to get worse. So accepting responsibility was really major for me. For a long time it was like, of course I drank. You would drink too if you walk a mile in my shoes, and then tell me that you wouldn't do the same thing. And it's not my fault. And all these people got killed, and all these people died. And my father was crazy, and I have to drink. I can't function if I don't drink. And all these things went wrong for me, and that's why I have a right to be a mess. And that's why it's not my fault that my life is like this. I'm just doing the best I can. And that was cancerous, and I had to learn how to do that. The third, another one, dedication to the truth. It becomes really, really easy when you're in pain, when you're living in dysfunction, to make up stories to justify it. There's what they call white lies and black lies. Black lies are supposed to be like covert lies, like I'm telling you a lie. And then what they call white lies are lies of omission, where you just kind of withhold the truth, or you kind of dance around it, and you kind of lie by not admitting something or offering up something that is part of the equation. So being completely truthful with myself about my decision makings and taking responsibility again. See how a lot of these ideas overlap. Taking responsibility and being truthful about what I had done and what my behavior was, and where my responsibility lied was really, really major. And that was that came with with doing some personal inventory and really kind of checking myself and saying yeah, you lost your son, your ex took him away, and she was wrong for that. She was a horrible mother. She was this, she was that. But the fact of the matter is, I drank when I had him in my custody. I did things that I'm not proud of, when it came to him, that, may not have been like outright abuse, but were definitely neglectful. And for all intents and purposes, I didn't really deserve to have him in my custody either. And that was out of all the things that I had to come to terms with, I think that might have been the hardest one, was that my life in September of 2007 was in shambles, and it was like that because of the decisions that I made, the choices that I made, the mindset that I insisted on holding on to. And that's a major, you can lie to everybody else if you want to, but you always know the truth. Whether you want to face it or not, it's always there, and you can face it and deal with it, or you can throw it away. You can hide it, sweep it under the carpet and act like it's not there, but it doesn't go away, and eventually it explodes. And then the fourth, which really, kind of applies to all of these, is balancing, and learning balance, learning how to bracket things and how to order things, and understand that things come in waves and they come in their own time and period, and that too much or too little of anything is never a good thing. So, when you speak of that with regard to delaying gratification, I mean, I learned this lesson just in the past month or two. I quit smoking in October, and for me that was delaying gratification, and that was a good thing. but I wasn't. I was trying to replace it with things like working out, but then things got in the way, and but it was like I'm putting off. I'm not smoking, but by not balancing that with some type of rewards, with maybe I didn't chew the nicotine gun for long enough, or didn't work out, or I started to become angry, and I didn't have any real outlets, and it was growing, and it started to create a number of personal problems for me. I mean, the thing about my life now is that it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. It's way better than it used to be. But the second that I stop practicing these principles in any way, shape, or form, things will start to unfold and start to fall apart for me again. Accepting responsibility, is the same thing. Is like that's accepting responsibility and dedication to truth are so closely related, and I had to accept responsibility for the things that were truly and genuinely mine, and then let the rest of it go, because once I started beating myself up for, again, using the example of losing my son, like once I started beating myself up for that, it became problematic for me. I started to self-destruct, and we're talking about years ago, we're not talking about this last period, but that's where being honest with yourself comes in. Like Dr. Peck also talks about two types of people, neurotic people that take responsibility for everything and things that aren't even theirs, and then, and that's really, really bad. And people that are character defected, like my father, that take responsibility for nothing. And they're both really dangerous, and that's where balancing comes in. And, it's easy to just kind of throw them out there like that and say, hey, that's how you fix your life, just do these 4 things. But they're not. It's hard to learn how to do them. And it's hard to remember to practice them, especially as things start to get better. And that's where love comes in. That's where forgiving yourself comes in, and understanding that it's not a perfect process, and that things take time, and that you're human, and that every day just take a little step forward. And even though you're going to have some setbacks, just keep moving forward, and forgive yourself and move on. And at the end of the day, evaluate your actions and your behaviors daily, and keep track, and, pat yourself on the back for the things that you do well. Accept responsibility for the things that you haven't done so well, but then don't beat yourself up. Come up with solutions and figure out how to tackle the things that you weren't able to tackle that day, how to come at them from a different angle the next day, and just constantly, continue to keep making steps forward. So, those were some really, really major lessons for me that, they weren't just about getting sober, they were about living, like I was just dead inside for so long, and it was really, really hard. And once I learned how to start practicing some of these principles, they eased up, things started to get better day by day. And again, my life's not perfect now, but it's manageable, and it's always manageable when you just do the next right thing. And pay attention to your behaviors first before you go, pointing fingers at other people and blaming other people for your circumstances. Because at the end of the day, you are the one that has to live in your body and walk in your shoes. And so, it's your day to do with what you will. Make it a good one. Next up, I'll be talking about also how the book changed my view of God and my relationship with God, and that's been a long journey. That's not one blog either, but it laid the groundwork for a completely new spirituality. And as I've said before, I'm in seminary now, so something clicked. Hope you have a good day. Take care.